Madhavam Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari 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 Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana 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 Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Krishna
Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhava Tumi.
Oh Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhava Tumi.
Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhava Tumi.
Jaya Radha Kunj Bihari Radha Kunj Bihari Radhe. Jaya Radha Kunj Bihari Radha Kunj Bihari Radhe. Jaya Radha Kunj Bihari Radha Kunj Bihari Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Mai Subhadra.
Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Mai Subhadra.
Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Bala Gopal Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Giri Govardhan.
Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Bala Gopal Jaya Srinath Ji Jaya Giri Govardhan.
Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन की
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की
जय।
संतति वैष्णवृंदा।
Jai.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
Chakshurum
येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदामयं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागजातं सहगना रघुनाथां वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, everyone. So, who's ready for a little detour today? We're going to take a detour from our study of chapter 2, and we're going to talk about, who are we talking about today? Lord Jagannath. Jagannath Swami ki
Jai.
So I'll just read one verse from the very end of Bhagavad Gita. This is like the essence that Krishna is giving to Arjuna at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, and we'll relate it back, and then we'll discuss a little bit. So we're going to read verse number 65 from the 18th chapter. Manmana bhava madbhakto majyari mam namaskuru mam ivashyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my dear friend. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think and act for Him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be molded that one will always have a chance to think of Krishna. One should always think in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. The most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is a dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend of Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on the original form of Godhead, Krishna. One should not divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multiple forms as Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. So here, Krishna is giving 4 things that constitute the most perfect and confidential part of knowledge. And it gives us the 4-part recipe of what devotional service is. It means to always think of Krishna, to become his devotee or loving friend, to offer our homages to Krishna, and to offer our namaskuru, our obeisances. So these 4 things are the principles of bhakti, of devotion to Krishna. So, to think about Krishna means that we must know some things about Krishna, right? We think about the things that we are attracted to. You know, a businessman is very attracted to his business. So 24/7 he is meditating on his business. How he can increase profits, how he can conquer this competitor, how he can grow, how he can add more employees, because he is attracted to his business. A lover is attracted to the beloved. and is constantly thinking of their beloved. Not having to think, okay, now I'll think of it. It happens spontaneously. Why? Because there's attraction. So how is it that we'll become able to think of Krishna 24 hours a day? That seems like almost impossible. Well, as our attraction for Krishna grows, then naturally our mind will be drawn to Krishna, just as a piece of metal is naturally drawn to a magnet. Right? Us as living entities, we are all naturally attracted to Krishna, but we are simply in the process of awakening our realization of who He is. So in that regard, today we'll discuss about Lord Jagannath. And Lord Jagannath has some very, very special features that actually make it very sweet and easier for us to think about Krishna just by discussing His various pastimes and understanding how magnanimous He is. And as we prepare for Rath Yatra next week, it'll give us some things hopefully to meditate on in the coming days as we prepare. As I mentioned last time, anyone who sees Lord Jagannath on the chariot becomes eligible for liberation and can eliminate millions and millions of sins accumulated over lifetimes just by seeing the gorgeous, large eyes of Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, and Mother Subhadra on their chariot. So who wants to see Lord Jagannath on his chariot? Yes. So let us not forget, when we go, we take darshan for at least a few moments and see. And by doing so, we'll assure ourselves perfection. Actually, one of the amazing features of Lord Jagannath, you'll note, is that He has no eyelids. We know, what do eyelids do? They close our eyes. But Lord Jagannath is so merciful. It is said that whoever comes into His glance is immediately brought to the path of devotion. So Lord Jagannath is so eager to give this mercy that He didn't even have eyelids, because He never closes His eyes. His eyes remain open 24/7. And this is one of the special features of Lord Jagannath, that He gives darshan in Jagannath Puri almost the entire day, like 21 hours a day. His temple is open and giving darshan. Hour after hour to thousands of devotees, just bestowing the mercy of His glance. So who is Lord Jagannath? That to some of us is a mystery, because Lord Jagannath is not so elaborately described in our Shastras. Why? Because it is a very confidential feature and activity of the Lord. But by the mercy of Narada Muni, our Guru, in our Guru Parampara, Narada Muni has made Lord Jagannath available to all of us. So Lord Jagannath is Krishna Himself. It represents a particular time of Krishna's pastime. Like Krishna has many names, right? He has names of Balagopal, He has names of Girivardhari, He has names of Govinda, Mukunda. So many names He has. Nilamadav, how I can forget that one. He has so many names to indicate all His different pastimes and activities. And it is said that Ananta Shesh, who has millions of mouths, has been chanting the names of Krishna since time immemorial, and yet he has exhausted all of Krishna's names. His names are unlimited. So one of His glorious names is Lord Jagannath. And Lord Jagannath is the Lord of the universe. So we know Lord Jagannath maybe has a little bit of a different appearance than we typically are used to seeing, no? When we see Lord Jagannath, we see big eyes. We don't see arms and a fully formed body. We see a gaping smile and like a face that's, almost drawn on a flat surface. Right? So we see these very unique features. So what does this mean? To some, it looks like it's an incomplete carving of the Lord. They have not yet formed the arms, the intricate facial features. But our acharyas comment, it is none at all incomplete. In fact, it is most complete. And this feature of Krishna in the mood of Lord Jagannath is as such. When Krishna had gone to Kurukshetra and met with the residents of Vrindavan after long periods of separation, he went into a very happy mood, an ecstatic mood. And he went into such happiness that the limbs of his body contracted in, his eyes bulged out of his face, his mouth opened gaping wide. And that image, if you took a picture of when Krishna was the most happiest, most intensely happy in his 125 years here, you took a picture, that is actually the darshan of Lord Jagannath. But that expression was not meant to be seen by everybody. But Narada Muni happened to be in the area when Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram and their sister Mother Subhadra went into this very ecstatic mood. And he begged Krishna. He said, you please show this very confidential, intimate feature to everyone. And so that very private, personal expression of Krishna became the most famous Lord Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath is none other than Krishna himself. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe. And he is not the Lord of just one caste, creed, religion, sect. He is the Lord of the universe. All living entities, all races, all genders, all living humanity and non-humans, all living forces. This is Lord Jagannath. And Lord Jagannath has many, many wonderful features. In Jagannath Puri, you'll see that he gives, I mentioned, almost unlimited darshan. From very early in the morning until midnight, you can take darshan of Lord Jagannath. Just 2-3 hours, the pandas will close darshan. And even there, it is said, he is giving darshan to all the devatas and great, great personalities who come to see him. And the second very potent feature of Lord Jagannath is his Mahaprasad. All the offerings that are made to Lord Jagannath are coming, and immediately after Lord Jagannath has eaten, it goes into the marketplace, and all of us can go and honor that Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath. I think we talked last time about the power of Mahaprasad. I'm sorry I'm confusing because so many sessions we've been talking about Lord Jagannath. I think last time we talked about the power of Mahaprasad. But Lord Jagannath, one of his great mercies is to give this prasad. Because he says, in Kali Yuga, we may be so lazy that we're not ready to chant the holy names of the Lord. The Yuga Dharma is to chant Hari Nam, Hari Nam, Hari Nam, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nashteva, Nashteva, Nashteva Gatiryata. But being so lazy that we can't even do that, Krishna says, okay, I'll manifest as Lord Jagannath. And you just come into my vision. Be the object of my vision. That is what we were singing. Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Patagami. Nayana Patagami, Mavakume. That you just, please, Lord Jagannath, let me become the object of your vision. And by doing so, one becomes eligible for going back. And by honoring Lord Jagannath's prasad, which is abundantly available in the marketplace. For just a few rupees, one can acquire so much Mahaprasad. Where else you can get this type of Mahaprasad? Nowhere else. And just by honoring Mahaprasad, one can purify the heart immensely and awaken our love for Krishna. So Lord Jagannath has many, many sweet features, but these are two of the prominent features. And so we pray to Lord Jagannath to become the object of his vision and to have some of his Mahaprasad. There will be many, many offerings made to Lord Jagannath on Rath Yatra day, and you can partake in that Mahaprasadam and relish the benedictions that Lord Jagannath has given. So Lord Jagannath is unique in many ways, but he has very intimate pastimes. And Lord Jagannath is known for his reciprocation with all of us. When we render service to Krishna, we want some response back, right? We want something back to give us some faith and confidence that yes, I am actually interacting with the Supreme Lord. And sometimes we hanker for that reciprocation. Yes, we must hanker for it. And one of the glories of Lord Jagannath is that he is always reciprocating with his devotees in many, many very, very sweet ways. So I'll share a couple of pastimes of Lord Jagannath. And these pastimes, while they are pastimes, meaning happened in the past, know assuredly they are still happening, repeating themselves in different flavors today, tomorrow, and the next day. So these are just examples of activities of how Lord Jagannath responds to the mood of devotion. So once there was a daughter of a farmer. She was a simple gal, daughter of a simple farmer, and she was in her garden late at night and she was picking eggplants. And she began to sing the Gita Govinda, the very famous prayers composed by Jayadeva Goswami. And she was singing so beautifully that Lord Jagannath became very attracted. He was situated far away. And the Pandas had closed the door and he was taking his night now, darshan, a few hours. And Lord Jagannath, hearing this young girl Padma sing this Gita Govinda, he just left the temple and went straight to the garden. And this young gal is walking through the garden picking her eggplants. And Lord Jagannath is just following, listening to the beautiful rendition of Jayadeva Goswami's Gita Govinda. She had no status, she had no caste, she had no formal training. But what she had was bhakti, love. And that attracted Lord Jagannath. And as he's walking in this garden, his dhoti, his lower garment, got caught on one of the thorns of the plant. And it tore a hole in his... He didn't realize and kept walking. A little bit later, another thorn grabbed his chadar and it fell off. And like this, Lord Jagannath was just immersed in Padma's recitation of Gita Govinda. And after she had finished, he went to the house and Lord Jagannath went back to his altar. So in the morning, when the Pandas opened the temple, opened the altar to wake the Lord, they saw what? Where's Lord Jagannath's chadar? Eh? He has a hole in his outfit? What did the Pandas last night do? Did they not dress him properly? Were they half asleep? They forgot? And putting torn clothes? They became very upset. So they reported to the king of Orissa. And the king was lamenting. In those days, the kings were very pious. The king was deeply sorrowful, thinking, oh my Lord Jagannath, we have failed you in our service. And he took responsibility himself. He did not chastise the Pandas or anybody else, but he took it on him, thinking it's my responsibility to see that you are served so nicely. And so he was lamenting this way. And in that night, Lord Jagannath came into the dream of the king and said, my dear king, don't worry. The Pandas have done nothing wrong. You have made no offenses as king. But there is one girl, Padma, who is singing Gita Govinda, and I was so attracted to it that I could not stay in my altar, and I went to hear from her this Gita Govinda. That is where I went, and there I must have lost my chadar and torn my skirt. So don't lament. So the king woke up. Really? So he sent some men to go see. And he went to the garden. And what did they find? Lord Jagannath's chadar. And they found that small piece of cloth that was torn. Amazing. So they reported back to the king. And the king immediately went. Actually, Lord Jagannath told the king in the dream. He said, it would make me very happy if I could hear this Gita Govinda from her every night before taking rest. So the king went to Padma personally himself and begged her and said, if you allow, I'll arrange nice accommodations for you and your entire family to come and stay in Jagannath Puri, right next to the temple. And each night you can sing this Gita Govinda for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. He's asking personally for you to come. And she became so exquisitely happy. And for the rest of her life, on the order of the king and based on the desire of Lord Jagannath, she became the person who was singing Gita Govinda to Lord Jagannath every night before taking rest. Still to this day, this tradition has taken place. At night, before taking rest, the devotee will sing Gita Govinda. But you can see from external basis, what was Padma's qualification? She had gone to no Gurukul. She had not come in any lineage of servants. All of Lord Jagannath's servants come in different family lineages. She had no, what we see, external qualification. But how did she attract Lord Jagannath? With her love. So much so that he left his own home and came to see her. And so he sees the great reciprocation of Lord Jagannath with her. Like this, there's another great story of one of Lord Jagannath's great devotees. There was a king of Jaipur, Jayasimha. And the king and his queen were very, very wonderful devotees. And so once they are invited by the king of Orissa to come to Orissa, and there they had darshan of Lord Jagannath. And there one of the pandas explained to them the glories of Mahaprasad. And it is there the panda explained that one who takes just a little bit of Mahaprasad from Lord Jagannath becomes eligible for liberation and can vanquish sins accumulated for millions and millions of life just by taking Mahaprasad. And so the king became very attached to Mahaprasad. And the queen begged Lord Jagannath for one blessing. He begged Lord Jagannath that please give me one daughter that I will then offer to you as your devotee. So after making this prayer, the king and queen left, came back to Jaipur. And exactly 1 year later, she gave birth to a very beautiful daughter. And she thought, yeah, wow. And so her faith began to build and her love for Lord Jagannath began to grow. But after some time, the queen became very, very sick. And the king had called so many doctors. They had performed so many different yagyas and sacrifices trying to cure the queen, but nothing was working. Everything was failing. And Vishnupriya, the daughter that they had, was just by her side every day and every night, trying to heal her mother and ease her from great pain and anguish that she was suffering. Nothing was working, no medicines, no doctors, no sacrifices, no rituals, nothing. Her daughter thought at this point, because of the age of Kali, all of the Devatas have stopped even hearing the prayers. They were completely lost in their hope. And one day, their daughter Vishnupriya heard some beautiful bhajan being sung on the street. She thought, oh, some beggar is coming on the street and singing, asking for some money. So she sent one of her maidservants to go see, what is this? Who is singing? But indeed, it was no beggar. It was a sannyasi from Jagannath Puri who was singing a very beautiful Lord Jagannath bhajan. And he had come with some Mahaprasad from Lord Jagannath. And he told the maidservant, you please tell the queen's daughter to give this to the queen. And by honoring this Mahaprasad, she'll become cured of her disease. So she began to offer this Mahaprasad to the queen. And surely as promised, the queen slowly began to regain her health. And after completely regaining her health, the king and the queen and his daughter became full in faith in the power of Lord Jagannath. Sometimes we doubt the potency of the Lord, but then when the Lord reciprocates, our faith builds. But we should have faith that the Lord is always hearing our prayers. And yes, he may not reciprocate with us exactly how we want, but no, he is always reciprocating with us. So the king and queen, becoming great devotees of Lord Jagannath, were visited by many, many different people. And once one Panda from Lord Jagannath's temple came to see the king and queen. And so seeing them, they became very enthused. Of course, what did he bring with him? Mahaprasad. So bringing Mahaprasad with him, the king and queen and daughter began to enjoy. And they stayed for some days discussing all kinds of pastimes. And then it was time for the Panda to leave. And so the king and queen gave many, many nice gifts, some jewels and jewelry and nice gifts for Lord Jagannath. And also gave some gifts to the Panda. So the daughter, Vishnupriya, is thinking, oh, I also want to give a gift to Lord Jagannath. But she thought, wait a minute, what it is that I can actually give to the Supreme Lord? He is being served by Lakshmi Devi herself, who is the bestower of fortune upon the whole world. He is residing in Ratnagara, an ocean of jewels. What is available in his storehouse, his treasury, how it compares to what I can give. And so she said, I can give nothing. You know, she's a king's daughter. What kind of a facility she would have had? Quite elaborate. Like, not only the king of Jaipur, very wealthy. But she knew, to the Supreme Lord, our wealth, our possessions are very tiny. So she said, my Lord, I cannot offer you anything, but I know that when you left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, you told the gopis that they had stolen your mind. So I am offering to you my mind. That is the best I can offer to you. Manmana bhava badbhakto majidi mam namaskuru. So she wrote a beautiful prayer on a leaf, and she rolled it and put it into a nice ornamented, decorated box. And this box she gave to the Panda along with one gold coin. Say, thank you for your troubles. Please give this box to Lord Jagannath. So the Panda, carrying all these gifts, began to walk to Jagannath Puri. Along the way, he is wondering, wow, what kind of amazing gift must be inside this box coming from the king's daughter? So he became very curious, and he opened the box. And inside he saw a leaf. He was expecting some jewels, some very rare precious stones. He just saw a leaf and some writing in Sanskrit on it. What is this? I'm not going to carry this to Lord Jagannath. What he'll do with this? And he closed it and threw it on the side of the street and carried on. So this Panda, after 2-3 days, reached his house. And at night he went to take rest. And who came into his dream? Lord Jagannath. He said, hey, you have come and you have carried all your gifts, but you did not bring my gift. How dare you? And the Panda in his dream replied, but Lord Jagannath, it was just some leaf. What kind of gift is that? It has no value. And Lord Jagannath said, that gift that she gave, my devotee gave, was greater than any value I have in my whole storehouse and my whole temple. I have no greater possession than that heartfelt message she wrote. I went and picked up that box on the side of the street that you threw away, picking up my devotee's gift that you would not carry. And I brought it back with me. If you come see me in the morning, you'll see me wearing that leaf just below my locket on my outfit. It is so dear to me. Panda was stunned awake early morning. And so he went immediately to take darshan. And everybody noticed, what is this leaf That is, come on, Lord Jagannath. Nobody has put that there. All the pandas and pujaris are discussing. And so this panda goes to the head pujari and says, Lord Jagannath came in my dream. And he told me about this leaf. And it's coming from his very dear devotee. He left and went to the side of the street where I had thrown it out and brought it back. And so the pujari went and opened the leaf, and sure enough, the verse that Vishnupriya had written was residing on the heart of Lord Jagannath. Vishnupriya had great intelligence. She knew we cannot offer our wealth to Krishna when it is that he'll actually enjoy. Krishna is looking for the wealth of our heart, of our devotion, our love. And she wrote in this prayer very sweetly that I have nothing to offer you. You are the Lord of the universe. But all I can offer to you is my devotion. Manmana bhavad mad bhakta. She understood Krishna's perfect instructions. And so we see that Lord Jagannath is not looking for jewels. He is not looking for material things. He is looking for our love. And when that love is offered to him, even if it doesn't reach him through the authorized pandas and pujaris, that prayer is never lost. Krishna knows everything. And he can see how he reciprocated. He personally went and grabbed that gift and treasured it like none other. And this is the reciprocation of Lord Jagannath. No service we perform to the Lord is unseen by him. Everything we do. So still to this day, you'll not hear the ocean at Jagannath Temple. But around anywhere else, you'll hear the ocean. But at Lord Jagannath Temple, because Hanumanji is protecting the ears of Lord Jagannath by covering the sound of the ocean, so Lord Jagannath can sleep. So this particular deity, I think Kanapatya Hanumanji, and don't quote me on the name. Stay here and don't allow the waves to disturb the ocean, disturb the Jagannath Puri Dham. So Lord Hanumanji took this role. But one day he was called to Ayodhya. There was some festival going on and there were nice laddus there. So Hanumanji said, okay, I'm going to celebrate Lord Ram and I'm going to enjoy some laddus. So but when he did, what happened? The ocean started raging and the waves started coming and disturbing Jagannath Puri in the temple. Lord Jagannath said, Hanumanji, where did you go? You are not to leave here. So he tied Hanumanji to the temple. So he's called Bedi Hanuman. And he's tied there so that he'll not leave and always protect Lord Jagannath's temple from the waves of the ocean. So still to this day you can see and take darshan of this very sweet Hanumanji. Once Lord Jagannath, see, Lord Jagannath is very kind. He wants to see all of us prosper in devotional service. But one of the main impediments, obstacles in our devotional service is our pride, our ego. We know pride is a source of so much conflict in the world. It is a source of conflict in our relationships. It is a source of conflict ultimately in our relationship with Krishna. Became very proud. The chakra became proud. How powerful I am. I am protecting the Lord. He calls me and I destroy some demons. So like this, sometimes when we do some service for the Lord, we think, wow, I am doing really good. Not realizing who is actually giving the potency to do the service? Krishna. Who is given the ability, the opportunity, everything to do that service? Krishna. But sometimes we want to take the credit thinking, I am doing. It is actually only happening by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So when that pride comes, Krishna doesn't kick us to the curb. He shows us great mercy by breaking that pride so that we can again regain our position. We should beg Krishna, please break my pride. It's a little painful, I can assure you, but it is really good for us. So Sudarshan Chakra was feeling prideful. So he told, the Lord Jagannath told Sudarshan Chakra, you go and you call Hanumanji. So Hanumanji was far away in some area, he was doing tapasya. So this form of Hanumanji is called Tapasvi Hanuman. So Tapasvi Hanuman was doing tapasya and Sudarshan Chakra came and said, hey, Lord Jagannath is calling you. Oh, all right, let's go. So Sudarshan Chakra came back, but Hanumanji is still fast, but not as fast as Chakra. So he took a little bit more time. So when he came back, Sudarshan Chakra was circling the temple so fast that Hanumanji could not enter. So he thought, my dear Lord, you have called me here, but I cannot enter because of Chakra. So the Lord immediately heard the prayer of Hanumanji, seeing the sincere desire. And immediately Hanumanji manifested 6 more arms. Thus he is called Ashtabhuja Hanumanji also. He has 8 arms. This deity is also there. And in 4 arms he was carrying 4 chakras. And in 2 arms he was offering obeisances. And in the other 2 arms he was using hands to chant the holy names of the Lord. And like this, being very empowered, he was able to enter into the temple and take darshan of the Lord. And Sudarshan Chakra became completely, I have been defeated by Hanumanji. He had 4 chakras in his hands. Completely humiliated and defeated, he began to lament. And Lord Jagannath explained to Chakra that you have committed a great offense to my devotee. One thing we should learn, you can make an offense to Krishna, he'll tolerate. But don't mess with his devotees. When we create offenses to his devotees, he does not look so kindly upon that. So, he said, you have offended my Hanumanji. For this, during this whole era of Kali Yuga, you will not be seen as a disc, and you will be present as a column. So to the left side of Lord Jagannath, there is one column, and that is Sudarshan Chakra. But Chakra felt, this is too much of a punishment. So Lord Jagannath is always very kind and loving. The punishments meant are for our benefit, our purification. So Chakra plain, please give me something less severe than that. So he said, okay, don't worry. Also during Kali Yuga, you'll be present on the top of my temple. The Chakra will be present. And one who has darshan of this Chakra will achieve the same potency as having benefit of darshan of me, myself. No difference. All the blessings one gets from seeing Lord Jagannath, one will achieve by seeing you, the Chakra, sitting atop the temple. So you can see, even in the punishment, the Lord is so loving to his devotees, giving wonderful boons. And to this day, we know, due to some, ideas, misinformed ideas, not everyone is allowed to enter to the Jagannath temple. Unfortunately. But if one just offers obeisances to the Chakra, one obtains no less or no different benefit than offering obeisances directly inside the temple to Lord Jagannath. And the great Haridas Thakur took this to heart because he was not allowed to enter the Jagannath temple. But every day he would offer obeisances to that Chakra. So while the Chakra was taught a lesson, he also became the great conduit for the love of Lord Jagannath's devotees. So we see in these pastimes that the Lord Jagannath is so loving, so kind, so much reciprocation for all of us. And he has made our approach to him so simple. Just go with folded arms and offer our presence in front of the Lord. Bow our heads and just think and meditate a little bit about the glories of Lord Jagannath. And from that, we'll obtain great purification so we can take to the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord and beginning to awaken our relationship with the Supreme Lord. So Lord Jagannath is manifest here in Jagannath Puri. but non-different from the manifestation of Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri. We have Lord Jagannath in the holy dham of the Devasadan Mandir. They are actually the first deities established in all of Michigan. They are so potent. And if any of you have rendered service to them, you know their reciprocation. They have performed so many miracles, so many amazing things. We could write books and books and books about these Lord Jagannath deities here in Detroit and how they perform very similar pastimes to what we just heard. Amazing, amazing opportunities. So don't think there's any difference. We may perceive difference with our eyes, but that it is only due to our immature vision. Actually, they're non-different. So we relish this opportunity to serve Lord Jagannath this coming Sunday on August 15th in Novi, where we'll pull Lord Jagannath. And as you're pulling that rope, we're actually, what we are doing, we are pulling Lord Jagannath into our heart. That is the mood by which we are pulling. Just as the Vrindavan devotees were pulling Lord Jagannath back to their home, back to their place, we are actually pulling Lord Jagannath into our heart. So I wish all of us and all of you a very blissful and happy Rath Yatra celebration and meditation on thinking about the glories of Lord Jagannath, and look forward to celebrating with all of you. One of the ways you can participate is by rendering some service. If you want to taste the reciprocation of Lord Jagannath, render some service, and you will experience a reciprocation beyond compare. It is extraordinary. There is a group of devotees. They're, very pious, very sweet people, and they come to the temple once in a while, very rarely actually, to be honest. But they do one service at Rath Yatra, and it's a group of 5 of them. And the first time they came to do this service to fulfill some community service requirements. They had some community service requirements. They said, we'll do this service. And this service is not so glamorous. I can say it's kind of mind-numbing and tedious, this service. So after the first year they did it, I assumed they'd never come back. It's not something that many would want to do over and over again. So afterwards, I went to them. I said, how was your experience? And literally, and there were some kids and 3 adults. All of them, there were tears flowing from their eyes. They were so ecstatic. And I said, we have no idea what is going on. I have no idea. We are doing this seemingly mindless service, but this has been the most blissful day of our life. And then they begged and begged for one favor. Please, let us do this service next year. I was blown away, shocked. And till this day, every year they come. It's actually the only time I see them the whole year. I never see them any other time, but this time. But they're so attached, and Lord Jagannath reciprocates with them so much that they beg, let me do this service. So I do warn you, if you render some service to Lord Jagannath, you'll become hooked and addicted. And you'll want to do it year after year, year after year. But it is the best addiction we can develop. So if you'd like to, please let us know and we'll facilitate. There are so many things you can do. So thank you very much. Lord Jagannath Swami ki jai, Lord Balaram Mother Subhadra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. I should say one very important thing that I missed, the most important thing that I missed. We know about Lord Jagannath, and we have this great opportunity to serve Lord Jagannath like this only by the unlimited mercy of Srila Prabhupada. He brought the opportunity to the whole of world. Now all over the world, people from all walks of life have come to know Lord Jagannath and are rendering service to him. We may not be yet able to go to Jagannath Puri. Only a handful of us in this assembly have gone. But all of us will have the same opportunity in 1 week's time. Why? By the inconceivable mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So we're eternally grateful for him due to his deep love for Lord Jagannath that we are experiencing some opportunity. So we express our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada for giving us this opportunity. So any questions, comments, discussion, anything we can discuss today?
Why Lord Jagannath selected Hanumanji to protect him? Is there any
So
any reason?
why Lord Jagannath selected Hanumanji? Well, Hanumanji is most qualified, most potent, and most dear devotee. So that is why he selected. Lord selects his devotees in various ways. Even the service we do in Rath Yatra. If you want to go serve the President of the United States, can you go say, hey, President, I want to serve you in this way? Can you do it? You have to be selected and chosen. So why do we think we can just go serve Lord Jagannath how we want? No, he chooses us. So we put down our name that I want to do this service, I want to do this service. But actually when that service happens, it is only because Lord Jagannath has allowed us to do that service. Only because of that reason. So Lord Jagannath picks each and every one of his servants. So all we have to do is put our desire. Lord Jagannath, I would like to serve you. Please engage me. And then let's see what Lord Jagannath does. But remember, if we are able to do any service, it is only because he has selected us to do it. That is the only way it will happen. And so for that he chose Hanumanji due to his great love and exchange. And Hanumanji enjoys serving him in so many ways, beautiful ways.
But Hanumanji is hardly devotee of Rama.
Yeah?
I know Rama is another avatar of Vishnu. But he is also asked him to stay back and then for another Rama some kind of function. So is it like Hanuman like resisted to okay I am devotee of Rama, though you are Krishna, they can serve and come back. So I was thinking that perspective. So because if he shown Rama by touring his heart,
Yeah?
yeah. So Rama is like an Shashat Guru for him.
Yeah. But he,
So that's what I'm thinking. Like,
but Lord Jagannath is Lord of the universe.
yeah.
So yes, we can have our affection. Lord Hanumanji is most affectionate to Lord Ram, undoubtedly. But we know Lord Jagannath has engaged him in amazing service, and he is also serving Lord Jagannath. That is the potency of Hanumanji. He can serve in so many spectacular ways. And we pray also that we have the potency, the saksha, the energy, the ability to serve in such wonderful ways, just in a fraction of their footsteps. So, yes?
Stay connected without getting deviated.
Oh, beautiful question. How to stay connected without getting deviated, you know? We know that in anything we do, right? What happens with all our New Year's resolutions? Boom! January 15th, 90% are gone. January 31st, 100% are gone. I mean, we're so staunchly committed. I am ready. And then, done. Right? So this staying determined is a very, very important question. So, one, association is important. So when we associate with others, when we become a little bit maybe distracted or not so energized, our friends grab us, say, come on, let's go. And when our friends become a little bit distracted and a little bit disheartened, we grab them. And together, we all work together and make sure nobody is left behind. We're all working together. So having really good association is principle in not becoming deviated. Our sadhana is the core of our devotional service. So our daily practice, right? If I want to have a fit body and I have this gym here, but if I see the gym once every 6 months, what kind of result I'll have? That kind of result. So, but if I go daily and practice daily, then I'll get the result I'm looking for. I'll stay fixed, committed, no lapse. So similarly, our daily sadhana is critical to our continuity so that we don't become distracted. And what is our daily sadhana? Primarily our chanting. We must take to the process of chanting every day. It's a must. I wish I could, I don't wish I could, but realize that there's no other thing. We must take to the process of chanting every day. And when we do our daily sadhana of chanting, then we provide the protective barrier around us so that other influences will not deter us, distract us from our path. I know this is the path of perfection, but I become allured. But the more I do my sadhana, the more I strengthen my resolve to not be distracted. So by really, really good chanting and good association, we can stay determined. And the best thing to do, pray to Krishna. Krishna, please help me stay determined. I am feeble in my mind. It goes here and there, everywhere. But I only wanted to go manmana bhavan madbhakto. I only want to think of you. So please help me. When we pray to the Lord in that way, He will help us. But having that desire is key. And I'm grateful that you expressed that desire. And so Krishna will bless you with the strength. And all of the strength that we have in devotional life, it comes from the potency of Guru. By the mercy of Guru, we obtain the mercy of Krishna. So, ultimately, we need the mercy of Guru to guide us and protect us. Because we'll face some challenges, some tests, some obstacles. And we must stay resolute and determined. And by the power of Guru, it'll happen. By our own power, it won't happen. Trust me. Trust me. We're too weak. But if we take to a higher power, if I want to go to India, I cannot fly myself to India. I have to take the power of someone who knows how to fly. They can take me. If I want to go to Krishna, I cannot go on my own power. I must take the power of someone who can take me. And that someone who can take me to Krishna is Guru. And that's why Krishna says, Tadvini paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upakdekshanti teganam jnanina tatadarshinaha. One must approach the bona fide spiritual master. And that's why Krishna himself did it, to show us. So these three things I can offer: good association, really good chanting, empowered by the mercy of Guru. And we will remain fixed, protected, and blissful in our practice. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, there's a comment, maybe my understanding. This is regarding the character Karna. Karna is my admirable character in that Bhagavad Gita. Any other character apostle, Karna is most admirable character. He is a perfect man and being born and betrayed by all the four people. The parents, the Guru, and even the God, Krishna himself. He's been betrayed. So he grew up in a very different way of learning the things. And he is the only, because Krishna portrayed as Arjuna is a kind of a, he is a master of arts, but in the perspective, he is not. Karna is the master of art, because he knows. Arjuna knows only how to fire the arrow in a different form, whatever the form, but Karna, whatever he touches, that's master for him, whatever the art is. But after he betrayed by the god, when he was in the vicinity of dying, because Arjuna has shot the arrow, after, because Karna used only once the Brahmastra, right? After that he didn't use, because he promised to Krishna always. So he was in the dying vicinity, but his breath is not going up because of his generosity and charity. So he is appearing, Krishna is appearing in front of him and asking like him, you have to leave now, your soul has to leave now, because you are in the right soul but in the wrong body. That's what he was saying. Because he was saying that you are going to moksha, you are going beyond the moksha, apart from because you are coming to me directly, not even the moksha, you are coming directly to me. Why? Because you are leaving the soul, you are leaving this body, you are dying in front of me when I am crying. So because the Lord Krishna cried for only one person in the whole Bhagavad Gita or any other epic, the whole epic, for him only. So in that perspective, Krishna, he said like, and I made a mistake in the beginning, but I rectified somehow because I shouldn't be putting into the opposite way. I shouldn't be putting in some other. You should not be born at all because Sriti Devi made a mistake. So that's the way it came out. I accept all the mistakes. You come to me, and I will save your life. So that's why then only he left the soul, the body, the soul left the body.
Yeah, it's okay. Just my only comment is Krishna didn't make a mistake. He never makes a mistake. He is perfect, and he never betrays any living entity. But he has different pastimes, different activities for certain purposes, and so in the end, everything was achieved properly. But it was not a mistake because Krishna is perfect. His script, his drama, is perfect. It's perfectly determined and it's perfectly executed. And so we understand it to be perfect. And, maybe through some further analysis we can understand the intent. But at the end of the day, we can rest comfortably that Krishna's love for every living entity is perfect and absolute. Just like a mother loves all of her children and never discriminates upon any of them. Our eternal Father, he loves and cares for each and every living entity, regardless of whether they are inimical to him or loving. Loves all, so it's okay.
Yeah. So he loved him after that. After
He
that,
loved before, beginning,
yeah.
and middle, and end,
Yeah,
in
because-
all aspects.
Yeah.
Let's
He made everyone. I know
let,
that.
yeah.
So Kanna was important for him among all the characters. That's what it is.
He loves everyone.
Because he left
All
years
all
for
his children are. No mother will say, "I love this child more than this child."
Yeah, that Kuji Devi did it.
Krishna loves all his children. So
Yeah,
don't worry.
Actually, to add a note to this, I heard one preaching regarding this only. So Krishna wanted Karna to take birth because Karna only gives the strength to Duryodhana. So if Karna is not there, the Kurukshetra war will not may happen because Duryodhana will not get that much strength he is having in Pandava side. Arjuna is there to fight with Duryodhana with the most power, and in Kaurava side, Karna is having the most power. So Krishna wantedly make him to take birth. So one of the preachers I heard about this.
Yeah, remember, in Krishna's plan, there are many layers and many layers and many layers. And they are beyond our scope of complete comprehension. What we can understand are the principles. That is what we are to take away. Why Lord Ram left Mother Sita, why Krishna did this to Karna, why these things. We have to remember the principles. The layers of Krishna's story are beyond our ability to fully understand. Just like the creation of this universe. Just because we cannot understand it doesn't mean it happened randomly. It happened very systematically. But the principles we should always remember is Krishna being our eternal loving Father. He loves each and every one of us equally. He never discriminates upon one in favor of another. He never unduly subjects one to suffering and one to happiness unduly. He is the equal loving Father to everyone. So that's we walk away from all of these stories with that firmly cemented in our heart. The details of what happens, yes, we can discuss, but at the end of the day, let's focus on the principle of Krishna's love for each and every living entity, and we can enjoy. Okay?
This Gita Govinda,
Yes.
I just searched. I mean, I see several versions.
Yeah.
Do you know which is the right version?
The Gita Govinda, there's been a few different translations on kksongs.com. You can get a portion of it.
No, what is every day you said in the night time before
They
you go
sing.
to sleep?
Yeah, I don't know which
What is
version.
that version?
That version, I'm not sure which one they sing, but it would all be the same. They're all composed by Jaidev Goswami in Sanskrit, but where to find that, I don't know. I don't think BBT's put the Gita Govinda out. Yeah. Yeah. Because there's a few different chapters of Gita Govinda. Jaidev Goswami. In 1200s he came. So about 200 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And same Brahma